15 years down the road, Oyo Nyimba is no more the toddler king who could clutch onto the royal garment of his mother in an official ceremony. He has grown into a tall and confident king.
I've been ready since the day I was crowned, so I think it shouldn't be a problem for me.
It is these young people that Oyo wants to get close to when he finally runs his affairs.
I think education is a very important thing, especially for the youth. You know, with that we can ensure that Toro has a bright future.
Mountain expedition. As we embark on this premiere of the King Oyo Rwenzori mountain documentary, let us be ever mindful of our responsibility to protect and preserve our environment through reasonable tourism promotion, vibrant conservation initiatives, and unbridled sincere government support in which we can create a sustainable future for Toro Kingdom, Uganda, and the entire world.
To emphasize that culture is not static. It is alive, dynamic, and youthful.
In his remarks, Omukama Oyo implored the young generation to embrace their cultural heritage, blending it with innovation and entrepreneurship.
African youth are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but innovators, creators, and change makers.
A legacy must be lived, and King Oyo has lived his legacy. He has died young, but he indeed has lived his legacy. That's a tribute, and we continue to pay homage and indeed pay the tributes, all tributes there is to him, because he has had that impact no matter who, no matter what. Each one of us as Ugandans have been impacted by the king, and we continue to commemorate him. You are watching Good Morning Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba on the Friday edition of Good Morning Uganda, and you're watching UBC TV. We always come to you live from the Nile Avenue while we continue to pay tribute to the King of Toro, King Oyo. We now look into other issues. You can send in your tributes as you can, but also you can tell us where you are watching us from, all right? Let's do life together. One of the things that moments such as death remind me of is the fact that doing life together, connecting as human beings, is always the first thing we should all consider and think about before any other program in life. So do capture your morning, your moment, your picture. Send us a picture of yourself or a selfie of yourself to 0709 602592 and tell us where you are watching us from. We'll definitely be getting in touch. But that same number also serves as the same path to which you use and contribute to the conversation that we are having in studio right now. We're talking about books and the culture of reading. There is a common statement that is rather sad when it comes to Africans in general. And I hope in this day and age it's changing. But we'll also look at why it should change, or why it was said and never thought to be changed in a perspective that relates to an African. There's a wrong statement that if you want to hide anything from an African, hide it in a book. Simply to mean that Africans do not read. Africans are not really readers. And anything you might want to hide it in a book, because anyways, they'll never get that information. They'll never pick the interest to read that information. And this is why we're asking and chewing on it together, all right? How can we revive the culture of reading books in this day and age, especially the age of social media? How can we revive the culture of reading books in the age of social media, all right? The hashtag is UBCGMU. Send your contribution to 0709 602592. and that is to WhatsApp and then X at UBC TV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCJMU. In studio with me is an author of a very interesting book. Now, before I even show you the author, allow me nudge you to whatever goes into your mind when you look at this cover for a book. I hope my producer is able to display the full cover on the screen away from just me showing it. But this is a book that first and foremost, it's yellow. The cover is yellow. So yellow it's a color that tells you brightness. It's a color that it just tells you, yay! You know, it gives you energy. And then away from the color yellow, it's a picture of a beautiful lady, a cartoon lady. Perfect. I love the display there. If you away from the color yellow, it's a lady dressed in what looks like, I think it's olive green or yellow itself, ish, but it's still a happy color. So energetic, so excited about life. And in purple, blooming in a purple flower. Purple usually stands for royalty, you know. And of course, as she's blooming, there is green. That means there's a lot of green earth roots as she blooms through life. And if you think about blooming and roots, it means that you've fought a whole battle beneath that ground to peer through and form roots, stand firm as a being, a living being, all right? And as any human being. That's the book of the author we have in studio, or the guest we have in studio. The book is titled Law, Life, and Laughter. It's a witty memoir of faith, failure, and finding purpose. I will say that first time I looked at the book, I did not need to read it immediately. In fact, the cover alone told me that whatever I'm about to read is very exciting. The author of this book is Brownie Abal, and she is in studio with us this morning. Brownie, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to have you this morning.
I'm very excited and very
looking at this book, it catches, I told you the first time I held it in my hands, the very same description I've given to the viewer who's watching us this morning is the very, very same impression I got the moment I held it in my hands like this. Now, I don't know what impression you've got. Does it call you to read it? Because it called me. The moment I held it, it called me. It was telling a whole story. Before I even read the summary about the author, about the book in itself, this alone was telling me a lot. But let's dig in and talk about the reading culture in Uganda, especially in this day and age. Do share your opinion. How can we revive the culture of reading books in the age of social media? For me, that question also begs to, have we even ever had the culture of reading? Brownie, do you think so? But we'll dig deep into it. For now, let's start with a preamble of just knowing who Brownie Abal is. And you're welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Brownie Abal. I am a legal practitioner. I practice the law. I'm a manager at National Water and Sewerage Corporation, so in-house counsel. I am also a social entrepreneur. I have various businesses, and I also love to give back. I'm a Rotarian at heart, and I love helping and serving through the talents that God has given me.
Right.
Yes.
Very, very simple. That and a lot at the same time. You do wear many hats.
Yes,
and one would wonder how you serve in all of them, but by the look of things and the sound of tone, it means that you're able to handle all the mantles at the same time. Yes. Let's look at reading in itself. Growing up, what was reading in your area of surrounding home, school, the people that surrounded you? Was there a culture of reading?
Yes, I am a teacher's child. My mother was a chemistry teacher in Nabisunsa Girls School, so we grew up in the education system. My dad is an engineer, and one of the key things they kept telling us was, through education, no one can take that away from you. Through reading, you can learn far beyond. You can travel to a different country through a book, and you can get the cheat codes of life without necessarily having to pay a lump sum for that. So if you read books that inspire you to do better, that show you that life is a journey, then you will have that knowledge and use it to improve where you are lacking in that regard. So yes, I grew up in a reading family. It's still a reading family, and that has helped us transcend in terms of where do you want to be, what are your ambitions in life, what are your dreams in life. Because I read, for example, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
Carnegie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in his book, he's just talking about how interacting with people actually help you grow. Right now, they talk about networking and speaking, and sometimes we're afraid to even approach somebody or talk or be in difficult spaces. But through that book, it shows you what you can do and how you can do it, and you're able to move beyond that. So yes, I grew up in that culture and I've seen the benefits of it.
Right.
We have also read like Chinua Achebe, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, all these great African literature authors that explain the African perspective at that time, our history. And when you understand your history, you're able to get better at your future. Yes.
Very profound at that. The book you've just talked about by Dale Carnegie, it's a book that taught me to learn people's names.
Yes, because they feel like they know you.
Relate.
Yes.
Even if it's someone waiting on you in a restaurant, read their name and address them by their name, not by waiter.
That is very true, and that has helped me have that interaction with people, and people feel seen and feel heard just by knowing their name. Yeah. So Julie.
Right, Brownie. And indeed, the beauty about books, if you ask me, something you said, and it's a discovery in my end as well, is the fact that you get to explore.
Yes.
I get to travel the world without necessarily flying. Of course, you love to fly, but before you fly, at least I have the opportunity to fly through papers and pages and interact with the author and ask them questions. I know I haven't got the, for example, Dale Carnegie, I haven't got the chance to ask him questions. But I've asked questions in that book. True. And in case God grants me that opportunity, I'm ready. But being with the author here definitely gives me the opportunity to ask questions, because I do have the author of Law, Life and Laughter. You did point out there something rather important as you were talking about the reading culture that you were surrounded with. And that was the fact that all these literature authors, especially the African authors, give us a context of what an African is like. And when you think about it, do you think that the statement, if you want to hide anything in a book from an African, or rather if you want to hide anything from an African, write it or hide it in a book, is entirely true, or it's because our nature in how we consume content has not been accepted or understood?
I think that's a myth in my view. I think it is more on how the author presents their ideas. We're not a people of like statistics and going deeper into what maybe law means and all this. No, we're a people of stories. We're people who, as you've seen in our culture, it is we sit around the fireplace, you talk to the elders share. So even our customs, our norms are more of stories of everyday life, of different things. So if we change just the way in which we write our stories, then more people are enticed to actually go deeper. But I think for me, it's more of how do you seek for information? How do you seek for knowledge? How do you preserve it? And it is brilliant that the African way is through interaction. It is through pictures. It is through the old talking to the younger people also trying to share their ideas. And once we build on how we better tell the stories, then I think the information and the knowledge will be shared more in that regard. So for me, it's more of a writing style. Once, like when you see A Man of a People, Devil on the Cross, These are satires. These are things that people say, oh, there was a matatu, someone was in a taxi, this and this happened. So these are books that the African mind will be excited about because they can actually relate. Because now, for example, I grew up reading Peter and Jen. They talked about strawberries, a strawberry tree, a forest. That was not relatable. But if you come and tell me there's a jackfruit tree, we were able to climb the guava tree, Jambula. You get those childhood. We played Kwepena, we played hide and seek, we played Kakebe. Now someone says, oh, I want to listen, I want to read what is happening in this scenario. So once we tell more authentic African stories that are relatable, that any person, a child, an old person can read, then I think people will keep on being more engaged, and our literature space will grow. Yeah.
Allow me get to your summary here when we talk about relatability. Law, Life and Laughter. This is a book by Brownie Abal. And like I told you, from the cover, you want to read it because it's already exciting. It's already telling you a lot before you even dig deep into the words that she penned. But in her summary here, just the start of it, she'll relate with you and ask me how. Let me read it to you, just a bit of it. What do mattresses, cockroaches, OD, peanut butter, jazz, and rats have in common? And clearly, you relate with a mattress, right? Cockroaches, duh, right? OD, not even, okay, peanut butter was to drive the point home for us to understand, but when we say OD, we get it. You get? And of course, rats in our environment. You relate, you get it. And of course, for the author, they were the unlikely teachers of resilience, humility, and faith. From losing class at elections in primary 3 to holding a laptop funeral at the beach in Dar es Salaam, Law, Life, and Laughter turns awkward schoolgirl misadventures into timeless lessons. For now, I'll leave it at that, just to pique your interest in line with relatability, as Brownie says, that when it comes to the reading culture of Ugandans, we were introduced, or Africans at that, you could say, we were introduced to things that were not exactly the environment we lived. Yet for our counterparts, say in the Western world, Peter and Jen, or Pinocchio, it's the things they watched, they saw, it was their life, so it was easy to relate and put into imagination that it was for us. So indeed, and I think I agree with you, Brownie, that the statement that if you want to hide anything from an African, hide it in a book, because of that is indeed a myth. Now that you share the bit of relatability. Relatability is always key when telling a story at that. But do share, how can we revive the reading culture of books that is here in Uganda in this day and age of social media? And for me to think about this question, Brownie, it brings me to think, with social media, you still have to read. You know, there's a lot to read.
True.
People write articles, blogs, and all of these things we must read. We are supposed to read. Do you think, even with the age of social media, where we are free to express ourselves in our natures, in our stories, in who we are, do you think people still take or pick the interest to read?
Yes, I believe they do take the interest to read. I started a blog, so before I actually went into pinning into the book, I started a blog called Becoming Golden, where I was just sharing the stories of the people I meet, the interactions I have with different guest speakers, or going for conferences, or even the books I have read in a summarized form. And we actually grew. Right now we're at 2,000 subscribers. So people would actually read and say, oh, this is interesting, this has helped me, how do I get in touch with A, B, C, and D? So it shows, yes, even the blogs through the social media, we're able to connect, we're able to go deeper. And I think when Facebook was a thing, a lot of people would go, because Facebook had your limitations in characters. People would write and they would express themselves truly. I think Pumla, how Baby Bam, she got into Bump Love, I think, was through also her Facebook posts of her letters to her son. So these are just forms in which people express themselves, and people are watching, people are reading, and they're being inspired, and they relate with what is happening. So I think through the social media, especially the short stories, people are able to digest the information easily and remember. Because there's no point in me writing, I don't know, 500 pages, and when I ask you, what did you learn, you're not sure. So if it is short and to the point and relatable, then we are actually changing lives through that. So I think for me, the purpose should be, how do we change lives? Through our stories. How do we let our stories? Through our social media, through our blogs, through our articles, through our books.
Right. I love the fact that in there is, the goal is impact.
Yes.
The goal is impact. How do we change? Because it's like, read all the, say, the research work you're given to read, or academia, and it has references and all of this. If you give it to someone, they'd read it probably page 1, page 2, and lose interest therein. And yet, had it been put in this size and relatable at that, someone would actually get all the information they need in the shortest time possible.
True.
And that brings me now, again, on the issue of relatability.
Yes.
Africans are naturally expressive people. Yes. Oh, okay, let me stop at Uganda. I might speak for others who are like, but I'm not. Let me use Ugandans where I've experienced, whose people I've experienced. Okay. We're naturally expressive people. And when you say that a book that has things that speak into the daily life that we live, the books that have illustrations, and it's just a simple message, but impacting a great deal. Yes. It means a lot, because if you think about a Ugandan, very happy all the time, very, we're just always expressing ourselves on the outward. We are not the calm, collected, sit down, read a book. But it's very few people in that stature when it comes to Uganda. So indeed, write something that's relatable, and a Ugandan will get it, or an African will get it. We all love to read, we all love information. Relatable posts, as long as people really relate, it's what it is. But do share your opinion. How can we revive the culture of reading books in Africa or in Uganda in this day and age, the social media age? Now, let's talk about this book in itself, Law, Life and Laughter.
Yes, please.
When someone picks it, what do you expect them to get away from probably laughing? Because I think there's a lot of laughter in here by the title itself, but by the cover as well. Yeah. But first time read, they've picked and flipped through these pages. What do you want them to get?
I want them to understand that this is an easy read. So it has different short stories. So it was based on different short stories that are my life, from my childhood to my university days. And then it has lessons through faith, understanding that, for example, things don't always go as planned, and it's not the end of the world. We are in a generation where, especially for young people, any setback is a thing for doom. People are saying, okay, I failed to get maybe my grades at A level or at O level or at P7, and there's immense pressure, and someone is saying, that means I will never be successful because I failed to get a 4. So this is just telling you that despite the setbacks, and there are going to be setbacks, it is part of life, you have to be resilient enough to overcome them. So if your setback as a young person is maybe your schoolwork, or failing to make friends at school, or bullying, or even just in the professional world, you're fumbling, you're trying to adjust. Maybe the salary is not enough. Maybe your parents do not understand you. These are things that are part of a journey of life. And through faith and through understanding how people are, working with people, you can be able to overcome them and know your purpose in life. And also to exploit wherever you are. So I do not need to be the MD of UBC or a big corporation to make an impact. No. Wherever I am, I need to be, one, grateful that God has provided me with these resources that are available, and use them for his glory. Use them to make our country better. Use them for people to say, these Ugandans know what they're doing. So this book is to inspire, to make you laugh, especially when things don't go your way. Do not be afraid.
That's the part I always look for, to laugh. Read a book, learn from it, and laugh a lot.
And laugh a lot, yes. So
Very
when you are in an awkward situation, when you are in a place that you are wondering, am I even meant to be here? Look for what is for you and find the joy, the happiness in whatever that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is that such a time as this? Why did you choose this time? Of all years you've probably been on earth, why this time to author this book?
I think this time was because I have had a lot of engagements with young people. I'm very passionate about that. But I wanted to transcend from the people around me being able to just benefit from me. I wanted to have a greater impact, especially when I would hear stories of people giving up, and I'm wondering why. Why are people leaving our country? Why are people saying, I cannot do maybe law or medicine or whichever course it is because it's hard? And I'm telling them, no, hard is part of life.
Yeah.
It is just for you to persevere. So I wanted the impact of my thoughts and the views of life to transcend beyond me, to be in every household in Uganda. If the person in a rural school in Kaberamaido can have my book and is inspired to stay in school, is inspired to go further, then I'm doing my job. So if I am to help the Ugandans out there, it is through the stories that I tell. And for me, I believe you may not have the ability to change your circumstances, especially external, but you have the ability to read. If you can read and write and you're able to read, please do. And through the reading, I hope it changes something internally and gives you that passion to follow your dream, to go beyond what you ordinarily see and say, I can be better, I can be bolder, I can dream more, and I can be a good steward for my country. Yeah.
How long did the idea get to become alive? What was the process like in line with duration from it just being a mere idea to us having the final product that we're looking at right now?
I think about 10 months in terms of ideation to construction to talking to the publisher to talking to the editor to going into the nitty-gritty, to sharing it with different stakeholders so they can say, this is not right, this I think is more relatable, I think this is a better way of saying it. So this is a book that has passed through generations, that is people who are 60, 70, 50, to those who are even 10 and 5, because the purpose was to ensure that whoever reads it, no matter the age, can pick something from it, and also I hope does not put it down. They are continuously reading and asking, when is part 2?
Right. Yes. Lovely, 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 lovely. Yeah. Now looking at the title, Law, Life and Laughter. Life and laughter, I might as well relate.
Yes.
But law, you being a lawyer,
yes.
What parts of law in the context of the book do you want an ordinary Ugandan to pick as they read your book?
So in regards to the law part, it is actually showing how I ended up in the law sector. Lo and behold, my parents are scientists. I was supposed to be a medical doctor. So from being a medical doctor, I am now a lawyer. So in our days, it was arts or sciences. So for you to move from sciences to arts was like, you're not serious. You don't even know what you want. So for me, it was that pivot of how do I, if I want to be a medical doctor, is it just in the profession of medicine, or what is the bigger goal for me? And the bigger goal for me was helping people. So my story, a brief story, was I was in my Form 5, my first term. We were doing experiments for cockroaches. So the teacher told us to go and look for cockroaches the night before. Luckily for me, my friends were very enthusiastic. They liked insects, I didn't. But we went to the pit latrines. I was their security guard as they were inside hunting. And when they got the cockroaches, I was just the cheerleader.
Yeah.
So I thought I had escaped that part. So we go into the science lab, and when we're in the science lab, the teacher says, so we're all going to pick a cockroach. It's a live cockroach, so it's dangling. And I was just like, what is this? So I picked the cockroach. I wanted to puke. I was scared. I was afraid. But I was able to dissect.
Right.
But after that experience, I realized, I think this is not for me.
Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but in the end, I realized my goal was, how do I help people? How do I make an impact? And I have a passion for that. And also, I was in the debate club. So I realized in my talents, I would easily speak to people, argue passionately about what I'm passionate about, and then naturally transcended into literature. Then I did Healthy.
Right.
So from BCM, I went to
the Healthy, the transition. I wonder what your parents received it as.
I know.
Eventually for an engineer.
I know.
And a teacher of chemistry. The transition must have been dramatic and interesting, just as is the book. So I think I'm glad it's the holiday season now that I think about it.
True.
Because there could be you who's in Form 5 and you're quite confused about what the future holds, what you want to do versus what your parents want you to do, and all of that, being young and therein. But this book is something that surely should inspire you. Now, you're officially launching it.
Yes, please.
And that will be on the 4th.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we are going to launch it on 4th September at Silver Springs Bukolobi from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The theme is life through lived experiences. So we'll have a lot of discussions on people's journeys and how they have been impacted through their life journeys. That is a cross-generational dialogue. We will have a keynote speaker. We have 2 keynote speakers, Robert Kabushenga and MD National Water. And then our guest of honor is Honorable Balam, Minister of Local Government.
And he has young people quite at heart. Yeah.
Yes, he is very passionate about young people and seeing them succeed. And then we'll have various professionals, young women, young people, in the different spaces, from business to legal to engineers, whichever. So if you are a person who's thirsty for knowledge, who's thirsty for interaction, who's thirsty to become a better version of yourself, this is the place to be. A ticket is at 100,000. It includes an autographed copy of the book and dinner.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Now, on that note, let me get into your comments as we interact with the author of Low Life and Laughter. It is a witty memoir of faith, failure, and finding purpose by Brownie Abal. And getting into your comments, I'm definitely also getting into them as we continue to commemorate King Oyo, Rukidi Puga IV, and also definitely continue on to capture your morning, all right? But let's start off from someone who captures their moment. I'm getting into that in just a bit. And good morning, Uganda. Reading books is not what matters. Okay, what exactly matters? Let's continue. I think what matters is what we need and what is written from the books. Secondly, what is more important is the morals and the foundation of families in every community. Finally, the understanding of every individual and our leaders determines the behaviors. Please, we need to get on track if it comes to building very strong families. I am Katwesije Johnson in Kaboa. And of course, you can only, let me see, what is written, it can only be understood when you read the book, which means that reading the book matters, isn't it? Thank you very much, Katwesi J. Johnson, for being on the show. And of course, the tributes to King Oyo continue on. We'll also be reading them in just a bit. But somebody comes through and says, refrain kids from social media. That is in this day and age. What is he speaking to? How do we revive the reading culture for Ugandans in this day and age of social media? He says refrain kids from social media until they are 18 to spare them time and space to read books. Let the writers and authors move with the digital evolution by putting their books online. All right. Thank you very much, Regan, for being on the show and following the program as well. We continue definitely to get into your comments. Good morning, Uganda. I think the reading culture can be revived through encouraging young children from home and making them love reading. For that book cover, oh my God, it really depicts happiness, hope, future, and blossom. This is Edson Mohanji. Indeed, this is what the book looks like. And Brownie, just to get to you, in case anyone wants a picture, rather a copy of the book, how much do they get it at?
A book is at 50,000. We have a website which is www.lowlifelaughter.com. So kindly go to that website. You will be able to purchase a book and we'll deliver it to you.
Right. At 50,000 Uganda shillings. Edson, you get to see what Blossom looks like in this book. All right, getting into more of the comments. All right. This is, okay, it's more of the Good Morning Uganda Capture Your Morning comments. We do appreciate you, Brownie, for visiting us this morning and being part of today's session where you've educated us well enough on, and I think you've changed our minds quite well when it comes to the myths of Africans reading. Relate with the people you're writing to. Because at the end of the day, it's for them, not for your English, not for your aura. It's for them. So relate with them and write to them. They'll understand you and they'll engage with your literature. It's a final message from what we've discussed. It's something that I pick and what I hear Brownie Abal say. Brownie, what are your parting shots as we close today's conversation? Your final remarks.
My final remarks is to encourage every young person that it's not too late to dream, it's not too late to follow your heart, and pick a book, and I hope you can learn a few things from it.
Right. Looking forward to being at Silver Springs on the 4th of September for the launch of the book Low Life and Laughter. 100K is all you need. How do we connect with you, Brownie? Where do we reach in case we want to pay for a ticket?
So we have a website which is www.lowlifelaughter.com.
Right.
We are also on social medias. It's still Low Life Laughter, and you can also follow me on the social media handles, Brownie Abal.
All right. Thank you, Brownie Abal, for coming through this morning on Good Morning Uganda. It is Low Life Laughter. Get yourself a copy at 50,000 Uganda shillings, or even go for the launch at that, which is on the 4th of September. We are capturing the morning, all right? Capture your morning. Send us a picture or selfie of where you are watching us from, and we'll definitely be able to get in touch. Connecting is very important, but at the same time, we do continue to celebrate the life of King Oyo, who passed away yesterday. Sad at that, passed away at the age of 34, born in 1992, been the youngest king in the world, but thankfully he left a prince behind who continue a legacy that he has well lived. And getting into your morning, I do appreciate you for getting in touch. Somebody sent videos. I cannot play the videos, but at least I don't know if I'm able to get your name. I see Baluku. Baluku, thank you so much for being on the show. Good morning, Brother Robert and Sister Julie. This is Teacher Osire Francis. very lively in Chaliwajala Namugongo. Thank you, Musomesa, for being on the show always and following the program. And good morning. This is Miss Kabi Sharon Masabe and Mr. Kabi Muzaffar Isabiriye from Ginger City Northern Division, who love reading and journal a lot. That's lovely. That's lovely. I believe Brownie is proud of you. And we say thank you for the service, Miss Julie Nataba. I do appreciate you for watching and always following the program. All right, getting more into the comments and your morning. Good morning, Uganda. This is James Epaku watching from Mutungo Hill. James Epaku, always a pleasure seeing you and seeing that you're always early. That means that you are the early bird, and I believe you always catch that worm. I do trust that. Thank you so much, James, for always being on the show. Hello, friend, our Omukama, RIP, indeed. Alexander, indeed, may he rest in peace. Good morning, Julie. Thank you for the show. I want to thank the lady for the courage she used to change from science to arts. Okay? I also want to write a book, but I need someone to guide me. Chigwe Livingston Subuga of Ruweza Lubowa and Tebe Road. I guess you can get in touch with Brownie Abal to be an inspiration to you because her goal is impact. Check out her social media platforms, Brownie Abal, and she'll be able to help you with that. Good morning, Uganda. Reading books isn't what matters most, but practicing that which we learn from what we read. Ideally, impact is key. When you read a book, you're expected to do. Good morning, Uganda. Have just fallen in love with the book before I even read it. I'm Diego. I know, right? Diego, right? Yeah, I hear you on that. It's 50,000 Uganda shillings a copy, and you get to enjoy it. All right. Excuse me. Good morning, Uganda. What an inspiring and powerful story. Law, life, and laughter is more than just a book. It's a reflection on faith, failure, resilience, purpose, and the journey of finding meaning in life. The lessons shared are relatable, especially for young people navigating their own paths. Looking forward to the book launch and experiencing this incredible story firsthand. Congratulations. This is Cubs Job or team. Thank you, Cubs, for being on the show. Ochora Frankwell, always from Gulu Awach. Right. Always a pleasure having you, Frankwell, on the show. And good morning. Good morning. This is Stuart from Fort Portal. My goodness, you were one of the first people I thought about the moment the sad news broke. And indeed, thank you so much for always watching and following the show. Stuart, the cruel arm has struck so hard with the loss of our beloved King George Oyo Nyimba Kabamba Iguru Rukidi IV. He was a great believer of the word. He was a great believer of the word, meant a lot to him. I'm at a loss of words, so loving, so caring. We shall miss him immensely. It is tough. My prayers are with the Queen Mother, Princess Nsemere, and all members of the royal family, and all the people of Toro. Owekitinisa Akiki Rose Birunji, a big loss to Toro and Uganda. Very well indeed. That is very, very true. Now we're beginning, of course, to close this off. Hi, I'm Ken from Hima. I'm so sorrowful of our beloved king, indeed. And good morning, UBC. This is Bernard from Gulu City. Thank you for the show. Practice makes sense or perfect. Totally do believe you on that. Good morning, Uganda. We mourn our king, are born again. May he rest in peace. And good morning. This is Brenda watching from Marpi. And I enjoyed the book. I wouldn't want to miss the launch. It's next week, the 4th of September. And finally, good morning, Julie Matt here watching from Jomai. Hi, Matt. So good to see you. Really sad news of a young king passing. However, looking forward to the book launch. Indeed, it's on the 4th of September, which will be next week at Silver Springs Hotel, 100K for your ticket. Now, this ends here, but up next is Dr. Semarulu Charles Clark, and he's already in studio with us. Allow me just say hi to him. Hi, Dr. Charles.
Hi, Julie.
Always a pleasure having you on board, and welcome back to the set.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what should we look forward to today? What do you have for us?
Yeah, we talk about what you call the dark tetrad. And these are some of the personality traits that are so much disturbing in our societies. and any particular individual should be in a position to lock in and then wait for what we are going to share.
All right, definitely. So looking forward to that very beautiful conversation with you, Dr. Charles. And it's the same conversation you should look forward to in just a bit when we come right back. Good morning.
Years down the road, Oyo Nyimba is no more the toddler king who could clutch onto the royal garment of his mother in an official ceremony. He has grown into a tall and confident king.
I've been ready since the day I was crowned, so I think it shouldn't be a problem for me.
But it is these young people that Oyo wants to get close to when he finally runs his affairs.
I think education is a very important thing, especially for the youth. You know, with that we can ensure that Torah has a bright future.
Mountain expedition. As we embark on this premiere of the King Oyo Mountain documentary, let us be ever mindful of our responsibility to protect and preserve our environment through reasonable tourism promotion, vibrant conservation initiatives, and unbridled sincere government support in which we can create a sustainable future for Toro Kingdom, Uganda, and the entire world.
To emphasize that culture is not static. It is alive, dynamic, and youthful.
In his remarks, Omukama Oyo implored the young generation to embrace their cultural heritage, blending it with innovation and entrepreneurship.
African youth are not only the leaders of tomorrow, but innovators, creators, and change makers.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they are supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned or what we have stopped is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.